Hey there, welcome to Daily Fantasy Nerd. I'm going to walk through the process of building a lineup on our site. Since I'm already signed up and logged in, I could click on the Get Started button to take me to the lineup optimizer. From here, the first thing I'll do is select the site for which I'd like to build my lineups for. I like DraftKings, so I'll keep it here. At the top of the page, you'll find a list of today's games, along with their starting time, spread, and over-under. You can exclude players from a game from your optimal lineups by clicking on the X next to the game in question. You may notice that many of the stats on our site are color-coded. Stats highlighted in orange are favorable, think on fire, whereas stats highlighted in blue are unfavorable, think ice cold. In the player list itself, you'll find information regarding a player's daily matchup, the average stats over the last 5 games, as well as their season average stats. If you want to find out more about a player, you can click on their name to bring up their game log. Here, you'll find the usual stats like points, rebounds, and assists, as well as site-specific stats like fantasy point production and historical salary. As you can see, some games are highlighted. Since the Hornets are playing the Bulls tonight, all previous matchups against Chicago are highlighted in the game log. You may notice that the projected fantasy point column is editable. Here at Daily Fantasy Nerd, we provide you with default projections, but you may want to use your own, so I'll go ahead and show you how to do that. To do so, I'll scroll back to the top of the page and click on the Projections tab. From here, I'll click on the Upload Projections button, and now I can either drag and drop my projections file into the dotted box, or I could browse my computer for the file by clicking on the Choose File button. For the file itself, make sure that the column headers adhere to the parameters listed here. Here in my example projections, you can see that my column headers are player and FP, both of which are perfectly fine. Now I'll go ahead and upload my projections by dragging and dropping the file in the box. With those uploaded, I'll click on the Manage Projections button. Here at Daily Fantasy Nerd, you can upload multiple projections and weight them to your liking. But for the purposes of this basic tutorial, I'll just be using one projection. Now I'll go back to the optimizer. The projected fantasy point column is now populated with the data from my projections. By default, players are sorted by their projected value, which is the cost efficiency of a player based on their projected fantasy points. To weed out the players that my projections think are overpriced or will underperform, I'll go ahead and adjust the projected value filter. It looks like the Warriors are resting most of their starters. This leaves a bunch of great value options, so I want to start off my lineup with some great dollar options. To see those, I'll adjust the salary filter as well. From this list of players, I like Boogie Cousins and Russell Westbrook, so I'll go ahead and lock them both in my lineup and see what the top lineups are. This is a pretty good lineup, but from what I can recall, Jason Richardson has been a bit volatile of late. If I pull up his game log, I see that he has indeed been inconsistent, so I want to replace him manually. I'll do so by finding a shooting guard that's $3,700 or less. I'll adjust the position filter, as well as the salary filter, and see what I have left. It looks like Justin Holiday is getting the start today for the Warriors, so I'll go ahead and lock him in. Next, I'll go back and see what the top lineups are again by clicking on the Build Optimal Lineups button. That's better, but I still don't like leaving $900 on the table, so I'll go ahead and replace Nikola Vucevic. Since I have $900 extra, I'll look for an $8,900 player. I'll readjust the position filter and adjust the salary slider. Next, I'll sort by projected fantasy points to see who pops up to the top. From this list of players, I like Pau Gasol because I know that Al Jefferson and Cody Zeller will both not be playing, so Gasol will be up against some backups. I'll lock him in. And again, I'll see what the top lineups are. Now that's a good lineup. I could scroll through other optimal lineups by either clicking on this arrow or by hitting the arrow key on my keyboard. Cool, now I have a bunch of great options. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you haven't signed up already, you can do so on our homepage by clicking on the Get Started button. It's free, so you have nothing to lose. Thanks for checking us out, guys. Good luck.